Hello and welcome to the MemoryMixer Design Studio, Mixing It Up Week 3. I am so glad that you have stopped by. Now, if any of you were traditional scrapbookers or still are, you might be very familiar with paper piecing, and that is really a fun part of traditional scrapbooking. But it can get a little messy sometimes with all the little scraps around. Well, today I'm going to show you how fun and easy it is to paper piece with MemoryMixer, and you won't have any mess when you're done. So let's get started. I've gone ahead and I've opened MemoryMixer, and I'm just creating from scratch. I have a background already applied, and this one happens to be from the Supersonic kit by Amy Teets. I just love the texture that is in this background, gray and then with this little bits of blue in it. I just think it's really pretty. Now, one thing when you're designing with MemoryMixer, it's really fun to use the complete kit from a designer. By using a kit, things match and coordinate and makes it easy. However, it's also a lot of fun to mix and match different kits. So today we're going to experiment with that as well as we go along. So as I mentioned, this is a kit from Supersonic from Amy Teets. And now to add paper piecing, there's a couple of ways of doing that. We're going to start first by just bringing in a piece of paper as an additional background. And I'm going to go here and I'm just going to grab something from Laura Berger, A Little Birdie Told Me. And there's a cute dot right here. Now I'm going to select that. But this time, instead of clicking on OK, which isn't a problem, you'll just have to undo it because that will reset your background. I am going to add it as an additional background, and you'll see that button over here on the left-hand side. So I will go ahead and click that. Now this message comes up and it warns you, are you sure? And I'm going to say okay. But you can check this box and then that won't come up anymore, and that might be nice for you at home. So I'm going to go ahead and select OK. And now that paper is just going to drop in the middle of my page. And now I am going to resize it because what I'm trying to create is just a little border over here on the left side of my page. So the easiest thing is I'm just going to resize it so it's about the same size as the page we're working on. And now you will notice that when I click on this additional background that my Edit Photo tool drawer has opened. And that now means MemoryMixer is using this object like it's a photo, which allows me to crop. And so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to click on the crop button. And now I am just going to drag my cursor and create a paper strip. I'll say OK. And sure enough, we just have that little paper strip. I'm going to go ahead and make it just a little bit bigger so it fills our whole page. Now, you can go ahead and leave it just like this and add the rest of your embellishments. You could also add a drop shadow just by selecting and then clicking on drop shadow. That will just add a little bit of dimension. If I wanted to reduce my drop shadow just so it is maybe not as pronounced, I can change the opacity as well as the blur. I can also just drag my cursor and move it up there a little bit. We'll go ahead and say OK. And you see, just to add a little bit of a drop shadow, it just gives a little more dimension. Now, you might want to add another little paper strip here or an embellishment to finish off the edge, or leave it as it is. So that is one way to add additional paper or paper strip to your layout. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And now I'm going to show you another way. And sometimes this way is a little bit easier for you to manage the size. So I simply clicked on Add a Photo Box. I've got my photo box here, and now I'm going to position that in the corner, drag it so it covers my whole page, and then I do want the strip to be a little bit more narrow than that. So I've gone ahead and just made my photo box the size I want. Now the beauty of using a photo box like this is I was able to resize it without worrying about stretching or skewing my background. And I was able to make it the exact size that I wanted. And so that just kind of takes some of the guesswork out of bringing it in as an additional background and cropping like we just did. So once I've done this, now all I need to do is come back up to my paper packs and then grab whatever it is I want. I'm going to go ahead and get that little birdie one again. I'm going to add as an additional background. Now this time when it comes up, I can just simply drag this over to my photo box. My photo box will absorb that, and we will have accomplished the same thing. One thing I want you to notice though, if I were to grab my paper here, the second my cursor goes over the photo box, you can see it changes yellow. So the secret to be aware of is wherever your mouse is, that's where it will absorb the paper from. So if I grab in the middle, it's not going to absorb in or turn yellow until my mouse gets there. So once it is, then you can just let go and it will absorb your paper. Now you could also go back in if your paper had a particular design, make sure it's selected, then you can come into your crop window and you can still position your window and grab any portion of your paper that you wanted. So you can see how easy that is. Now maybe I wanted to add another little trim piece to that to just cover this little edge. I'll just do the same thing. I'll add my photo box, and this time I'm just going to make a very slight little border piece. I'll come grab my background just the same way. This time I'm going to come to strong enough, and I'm going to use pattern 12. And again, I don't want to use OK because that will replace my background, but I'm going to add as an additional background. And I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to drag this over, and when it goes yellow, it'll be absorbed. Now, if I wanted, I could also zoom in on that if I wanted the pattern to be a little more pronounced, and I could do that with the polka dots here as well. So you can see how easy it is to paper piece using MemoryMixer. So let me show you a couple of layouts that I've created with this technique. I've just added a few embellishments from Amy Teets. She has several kits that we've included in this week's Mixing It Up special. So it is Artists at Work, and that's a number of these little embellishments, the leaves and flowers. Anyway, you can see how fun that is. I really love that kit. I have also used that kit. I've used some other background for this paper piecing, and this time I used a ruler to create that little strip to soften the edge of the papers. So you can see that adds a fun twist as well. So there are all kinds of things you can do with paper piecing. Let me show you what kits we have used from Amy Teets in those layouts. Love Is, you can see the cute polka dots here, as well as the Artist at Work, filled with all kinds of beautiful embellishments and papers, and then as well has a cluster that goes with it. And then the gray background, I just love the texture in that. It goes with this great kit, Supersonic. So you can see there's lots of fun things by Amy Teets that you can find at MemoryMixer.com. Okay, so the next sample I want to show you, I really want to create more of a mat for your photos. Okay, so I have already selected some backgrounds, and these are from Tammy Miller. I think these are just beautiful. And this time I'm going to be creating, as I mentioned, more of a mat for your photos to sit on. And so I'm going to go ahead and use the same technique we did before. I'm going to add a photo box, but this time I want the paper to cover a large section right about where I want to position my photos. And the green is the one that I want to be in that initial space. And then I want this gold to sit on top of that. So I'm going to go ahead and do another photo box now. Only I want to give it just a little bit of space. Going to go ahead and size it. Now if I were working on a photo book, I would want to make sure that I have the guides on so I know where my photo book would be trimmed. So we're not worrying about that right now, and I want you to be able to see the whole page. So I have that photo box all sized the way I want. I'm going to go ahead and drag in my gold, and I can add my drop shadows if I want to give that little bit of extra dimension, and I can reposition my shadow and change the opacity like we had done before. So just say OK, and once you have kind of your background, then you can go ahead and add your photos, embellishments, etc. So I have gone ahead and finished this layout. I'll just show you So, and of course, you can add as many photos as you want to these layouts. I've just added a few just for our sample purposes, but these are some great kits from Tammy Miller. I just love her artwork as well. We have such great designers at MemoryMixer. I'm so grateful for their talents and willing to share with us. So you can see this, I think, is a great kit as well. And the kits that we have used with her layout. So Tammy Miller's Sweet Simplicity, Something Wonderful, Romantic Blush, and Must Love Horses. And you can see how we just mixed and matched those things to make such a wonderful layout. So thank you, Tammy. Okay, this last sample that I want to show you, it uses some of the same techniques. I positioned the photo boxes just how we've been doing, but these are in 3 longer strips, which is great, and that would be a fun background to build your layout on as well. But I'm just going to show you one more little twist, and literally I mean twist, because we're going to rotate those. I'm going to select this first one, and I'm just going to come here to the rotate button. I'm going to type in 21, press enter, and I'm going to do the same thing for all 3 pieces. Okay, so we had created those strips just like we have done the others, and this time we just rotated them. They're just nestled close together, but I think it gives a real fun look, and this one happens to be a little more masculine, so I tried to keep that layout more masculine just for the men in our lives and the boys. So let me go ahead and show you the layout that we've created using this technique. And these are designs by Laura Berger. She too has just done such great things, and I just love her embellishments and the kits she has. So I've just added a few things, tucked a few things under my photo box, as well as some little paper scraps. But you can see, doesn't that just make a great layout? And you again could add as many photos as you wanted, but I think she has just done a great job, and I love this, how it's turned out. So let me show you the kits we've used from Laura Berger. And this is Perfect Harmony. I just think this is such a striking kit. Wouldn't that be perfect for a concert at school or piano recitals? I just think these are beautiful. Or to mix and match the backgrounds like we just did. So you can see a lot of beautiful embellishments in here. This one as well, Life Changes. I think it's just gorgeous, and I love the color combination. Strong Enough. There are some great papers in this kit and coordinating embellishments. Again, just beautiful designs. So thank you so much for stopping by. It has been fun to show you about paper piecing, and hope to see you again next time. Happy mixing!